Britain's political landscape has been shaken by a judicial intervention that threatens to derail Keir Starmer's premiership. A High Court judge has issued an unprecedented order demanding the Labour government justify two controversial policies within 30 days, a timeline so tight it suggests profound judicial concern about executive overreach. This isn't just another political setback, it represents a constitutional crisis that could redefine the balance of power in British politics. If you want unfiltered analysis of this developing story, subscribe now for regular updates. The court order focuses on two explosive issues: Starmer's plan to relinquish the Chagos Islands and the controversial mandate forcing schools to screen a Netflix drama about teenage violence. Both decisions reveal a pattern of governance that prioritizes ideological commitments over due process and national interest. Legal experts describe the 30-day deadline as extraordinary, indicating the court's serious concerns about potential executive overreach. Our investigation uncovers three critical failures in Labour's approach. First, their disregard for proper consultation processes. Second, their willingness to sacrifice British sovereignty for international approval. Third, their alarming pattern of implementing radical policies without adequate evidence or preparation. Together, these failures have created the perfect storm that led to this judicial intervention. The Chagos Islands controversy exposes Labour's troubling approach to national sovereignty. This strategically vital territory, home to the Diego Garcia military base, represents Britain's last significant overseas possession in the Indian Ocean. Intelligence analysts warn its loss would severely compromise Western security interests in a region increasingly dominated by Chinese naval expansion. Starmer's decision to surrender the islands based on a non-binding International Court of Justice opinion sets a dangerous precedent. No previous British government has voluntarily relinquished sovereign territory in this manner. Constitutional experts warn this could open the door to similar challenges against Gibraltar or the Falkland Islands, undermining Britain's global position. The government's defense, that this move repairs colonial injustices, rings hollow when examined closely. The Chagos Islanders were resettled in the 1960s to allow the Diego Garcia base construction. While their treatment deserves acknowledgement, surrendering strategic territory represents an overcorrection that jeopardizes national security for symbolic gestures. Education policy provides the second front in this judicial battle. The government's mandate requiring schools to screen a Netflix drama about teenage violence has sparked outrage among teachers and parents alike. Psychologists warn the graphic content could traumatize vulnerable students, while educators question its suitability as teaching material. Head teachers across Britain are openly defying the directive, with some threatening legal action. Their rebellion highlights a fundamental flaw in Labour's policymaking, imposing radical changes without consulting the professionals who must implement them. The court order specifically questions whether the government followed proper consultation procedures, suggesting this may have been an illegal exercise of power. These twin controversies reveal a deeper pattern of governance. Starmer's team appears more concerned with projecting progressive credentials than delivering competent administration. Their policies frequently prioritize symbolic victories over practical outcomes, whether in international relations or education reform. The political fallout is already intensifying. Nigel Farage's Reform UK has seized on these developments as evidence of Labour's weakness on national sovereignty. Conservative MPs are drafting emergency motions for parliamentary debate. Even traditionally Labour-supporting trade unions have expressed concerns about the government's authoritarian tendencies in education policy. Public opinion polling shows dramatic shifts in Starmer's approval ratings. A recent YouGov survey found 62% of respondents believe the government is out of touch with ordinary people's concerns, a devastating verdict for a party that promised to restore faith in politics. The same poll showed trust in Starmer's leadership has fallen 15 points since the court order was announced. Three critical questions now confront the government. First, can they provide legally convincing justifications for these policies within the court's tight deadline? Second, will this judicial intervention trigger wider scrutiny of other Labour initiatives? Third, how will Starmer rebuild public trust after such a damaging blow to his authority? The answers will determine whether this becomes a temporary setback or a defining crisis of Starmer's premiership. Constitutional scholars warn that if the government fails to satisfy the court's demands, we could see an unprecedented clash between the judiciary and executive branches. Looking ahead, several scenarios seem possible. If Labour can present compelling legal arguments, they may weather this storm, though the political damage is already significant. If they struggle to justify their actions, we could see policy reversals that would embarrass the government and embolden its critics. The worst-case scenario, a full-blown constitutional crisis, remains unlikely but no longer unthinkable. Such a development would destabilize British politics at a time when the country faces multiple challenges, from economic uncertainty to global security threats. This judicial intervention represents Starmer's greatest test since entering Downing Street. Effective leaders respond to crises with clarity and resolve. The coming weeks will reveal whether Starmer possesses these qualities or whether his government will become another casualty of Britain's turbulent political landscape. For continuing coverage of this developing story, subscribe to our channel.